as most of you know, if you have a news feed on any of your social medias or you watch the news at all, there's a lot going on in Los Angeles with ICE. There's a lot of unrest. People are resisting and protesting this regime's ripping people off of the streets, putting them in basements. It feels like the beginning of a really horrible chapter in our country's history, uh, a book that has many horrible chapters. And last night, I was feeling the heaviness of everything that is happening in the city of which I live and have called my home for 9 years. And a city that's already been through so much this year. And, I was just like having a moment and I started praying. And I was praying for the people, the human beings who are being held in basements with no food or water, with no lights, packed on top of each other, with no lawyers, no due process. The fear, the terror, the anxiety that their families must be feeling. I was praying for them. I was praying for the law enforcement, that they would have empathy, that they would honor the oaths that they've taken to protect and serve the community and not a king or a regime or a man. And then I was praying for our leaders, that maybe at some point, some humanity, some wisdom, some long-term, I don't know, logic, commitment to democracy might set in. And as I'm praying for these things, I I just kind of stopped and was thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I've talked a lot about my disconnection to spirituality over the past couple weeks and on other podcasts, and what I'm personally dealing with my inability to really feel connected to anything right now. And it felt natural in that moment for me to pray. And then I thought, am I praying to the same God that these evil cowards who are perpetrating this chaos and depravity are praying to? We can't be praying to the same God. We can't be praying to the same God, the people who are stuck in these horrible camps that they're building all over the country, whose families are terrified that they're going to be sent to El Salvador or to any other country that they didn't grow up in and have no familiarity with. We can't be praying to the same God. I can't be praying to the same God that Christians pray to while they sit around justifying the behavior of our leaders, the complete stripping of everything that this country claims to stand for, with due process and democracy and a government for the people, by the people. Where the fuck is that? That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what we're experiencing right now. What we are experiencing is a hostile takeover from a dictatorship regime. That's what we're watching. That's what the people in LA who are protesting are pushing back against. It's what our grandparents and so many others fought to keep from happening. Right? These freedoms, these imaginary freedoms that we have that separate us from the rest of the world. If we can just grab people off of the street and detain them, and there is no process, there is no law, there's no order, lawyers can't be reached, they don't go through proper systems, we are not a democracy. That's not how that works. And you all have been so brainwashed into believing that what's happening is only criminals and only people who are taking advantage of the system. That's not what's happening. Some of it is, but the fact that it's not all should be terrifying to every single American citizen, no matter what side of the aisle you claim to sit on. Because if you're watching this and thinking this is okay, you're too far gone. You're in a cult. Everyone is screaming and banging and yelling and holding signs and begging everyone to understand what is happening. We are losing it. We have lost the plot. It is insanity. We are supposed to be a country that has laws that are followed no matter who is in charge. No one, including the president, is above the law. That is not happening right now. And I just feel how I think a lot of people feel, which is very helpless, because there was always the default to, well, there are laws in place. We have rights. Our politicians will enforce the law. The court system will be honored. Judges will be respected. None of that is happening. It may very well be a wrap. I'm not here to doom and gloom, but like if we don't have rights, if we don't have due process, if there's no way to hold leaders accountable, it's a wrap, you guys. It's over. The experiment has failed. I'm trying to not be too hyperbolic, but I'm watching this happen in my own backyard. And yeah, like I really had a moment where I was very sad and I was crying and I was fearful and heartbroken that this country that so many members of my family, so many of my friends have fought to protect our freedoms and sacrificed and seen horrible things in order to make sure that we have a free place to live where we can express our thoughts about our leaders or anything that's going on in our country without fear of repercussions from the government. That's cooked. Due process is cooked. Holding our leaders accountable from the laws that still currently stands, cooked. So my question is like, where does this end? Like what has to happen for all of us to wake up and understand that we've given it away? And then that makes me angry to think that proximity to whiteness has really drowned out logic for so many people that they would believe that this would not happen when he said this is what he was going to do. I don't know. I know I just said a lot, but it's just what I'm feeling with everything that's happening. And yeah, I don't want to hear that you're a good person. You're not. You're not a good person. You're a terrible person. And the hell that you keep speaking on other people that you feel comfortable making people experience while they're on this earth is most certainly waiting for you if you are in support of how all of this is going down and what's to come. And the only thing that like gave me any comfort when I was thinking through all these things the other night was, well, at least this go round in history, everyone is doing us the favor of recording what they think and believe with their faces on it and posting it on the internet for all eternity. So, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, we don't have to wonder who the bigots were. We don't have to wonder what side of history you stood on. We don't have to wonder what you supported. And we'll have your name too. So all of you assholes who think that you're just going to get away with what you are doing right now, take a look back in history at every single point where something was going down in the course of human history. Those fucking bozos thought they were going to be remembered as heroes, and we despise them. We curse their names. We think of them as dirt in the annals of history. And in the time and the moments that they were doing it, they justified it to themselves and they thought they would be remembered differently. You guys are always talking about legacy. You're always talking about what you leave behind. That is what you will be. And you've done everyone the favor of recording it and putting it all on TikTok. So thank you for that, because our children's children are not going to have to wonder who put them in this situation. They're not going to have to wonder who decided that this was how it was going to be. They'll know exactly who you are and what your name is too. Yeah, it feels sad. It feels sad that we've gotten to this place. And I don't know how much worse it's going to get or if it's ever going to be the same. But it's pretty wild to live through this many unprecedented days back to back to back to back. It's getting really exhausting. And I have a hard time believing that the person who lays their head at night after watching all this go down and where we're going is praying to the same God I am. We got to get aligned because we do not want the same things. We don't.